Welcome to Hannity, and this is a Fox News Alert. Residents and store owners in Ferguson, Missouri are trying to rebuild tonight after violent protesters have left dozens of businesses completely destroyed. And tonight, in a special Hannity investigation, we want the destructive demonstrators brought to justice. Now, take a look at the faces right there on your screen. Our producers have obtained this from the St. Louis County Police Department. They are the mugshots of the men and women over the age of 18 who were arrested last Monday and Tuesday in Ferguson, Missouri. Now, the crimes that they are accused of range widely. Now, they include unlawful assembly, arson, burglary, possession of stolen property, trespassing, and interfering, among others. And to be clear, none of these people have been convicted of any crime. Now, last week, we also showed you this Hannity exclusive surveillance footage. Now, this was taken from inside the Ferguson market after the grand jury announced its decision not to indict Officer Darren Wilson in the shooting death of Michael Brown. Now, look at that video. As you can see, looters rushed into the store. They literally locked, stealing, destroying property, as you can see, and it also caught one of the demonstrators lighting the store on fire. As you can see right there, that guy is spreading accelerant, and if you or anybody out there recognizes that arsonist or any of these looters, well, please call the tip line right there. That number's at the bottom of your screen. These people need to be in jail. Here with reaction to this and much more is Ferguson, Missouri Police Chief Thomas Jackson. Chief, thanks so much for being back with us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let me start with all of those faces. I want to roll this video again. You got all of these people rushing into the Ferguson market. Now, the question I have for you is, for all of these people that are looting and all these people that were trying to put the place on fire, are you going to try and use this video and track these guys down?
Absolutely. And every single one that we can identify, and we hope to identify every one of them, will be charged with at least the burglary.
So you are going to follow up, and that goes for the cell phone store. That goes for the liquor store. Do you have footage from both those places as well?
Yes, we do. Everything that we've had burglarized or burnt, we intend to prosecute to the full extent of the law.
Why hasn't
crimes.
Dorian Johnson, who's in the video of the robbery of that convenience store, and Michael Brown hands him the stolen material? Now, he didn't intimidate the clerk the way Michael Brown did. Why hasn't he been brought up on any charges for his part in that robbery?
My recollection of the tape is that he put that box back on the counter and didn't actually leave the store with it.
Well, I'd have to go back and look at it. And what about perjury? What about those people that testified, like Dorian Johnson, who said, oh, Michael Brown had his hands up. Oh, we were just minding our own business. All he did was lie when he made those reports. Do you think you could pursue perjury charges in his case?
I'm not sure. That would be up, obviously, that's going to be up to the prosecuting attorney's office to look into that. And we're very focused on getting all the violent criminals that went through our community the other night.
Yeah. Now, a lot of other comments were made that I would argue, and even the Lieutenant Governor, Peter Kinder, is going to join us later in the program, and it had to do with the stepfather of Michael Brown, who said, burn this bitch down, talking about the town of Ferguson, leading into the events of last week. My question is, do you believe those comments should be pursued? Is that inciting a riot?
We are pursuing those comments, and there's a lot of discussion going on about that right now, but I really can't get into that at this time.
Is there an atmosphere where maybe there's a group in law enforcement, maybe in the prosecutor's office, arguing that, oh, we should just let it die? But wouldn't that just encourage people in the future to act the same way and feel that they could get away with it?
No, we can't let all that happened in Ferguson and Delwood and the community die. Everyone who is responsible for taking away people's property, their livelihoods, their jobs, their businesses, every single one of them needs to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
What about back in August when this happened,
Chief? By all my colleagues in that.
Did you use the videotape then to go after people?
We did.
Yeah. Okay. Chief Jackson, thank you for being with us as always. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. And
joining us now with more reaction is former LAPD Detective Mark Furman and former NYPD Detective Bo Dietl. Bo, I'll start with you. So you got looters, you got arsonists, you've got people that have committed perjury, and you got people inciting to riot.
Yeah.
how big a mistake would it be if they don't go after every one of them? And I want to show that videotape. Every one of those kids, every one of those young people breaking into that store, I think, and we'll roll the tape, they need to be arrested.
You know, Sean, I hope that this chief is going to follow through on what he just said, because let's face it, peaceful demonstration is what America's about. You have signs. 1, you don't put a mask on. 2, you don't hide your face unless you want to do something and you don't want to get caught for it.
Look at this. Look at what
this
they're
is
doing.
like an Animal House over there, and these punks here with their hoodies again. Remember the hoodies? They're all wearing hoodies. Why are they wearing hoodies? So they don't get identified.
Many of them are covering their face, and that's the sad part. They may end up getting away with some of this.
We had it last week in New York when they shut down the Triborough Bridge. They shut down the West Side Highway. They got masks on. They threw blood on Bratton there. You know what the problem here is?
Yeah.
They're letting
right
them do.
You see that?
Yep, he set it on fire.
He's now throwing accelerant, so this fire gets bigger. And now watch this woman who comes up afterwards.
Yeah.
This woman, you know, she apparently went in there for the one reason. Let me bring Mark in here. Mark, you agree with all this? The looters, the arsonists, those people that were robbing, setting this place on fire, don't they all have to be arrested here?
Well, they all have to be arrested, and they have to be investigated, and you have to squeeze them for who else was there. You also have to, as a city of Ferguson or the county or the state, they need to pass a law that says that if you're going to assemble to peacefully demonstrate, you cannot conceal your identity. This was all done in Los Angeles. They passed the Los Angeles Municipal Code. Certain things that you can't have certain sticks that are beyond a certain size. You need to do something here to rein in the bad conduct.
Yeah, you know, and by the way, I think that's the woman. She's using milk and whatever other...
And look at the message today, what our president does. He brings all these race baiters into the White House now, and they're just stirring this up. Those football players should be fined by the NFL. There's no reason for them to stir up things. Now, across this country, including New York City, everyone's having a reason now. This is the wrong reason. The right reason should be that 5-year-old little girl that got shot in the head on her daddy's lap. That's what they should be protesting. The violence that's occurring in our communities, our African-American communities, that's what we should be protesting. Where do you see Sharpton? How come he hasn't been in Chicago?
Today was his 82nd visit, Mark, to the Obama White House. The narrative has always been racial in this case. But didn't the evidence show something entirely different? That you have black eyewitnesses from Ferguson that corroborated the cop's story, that there was, in fact, Michael Brown that robbed the store, intimidated the clerk, tried to fight the police officer for the gun, charged at him, quote, like a football player with his head down. It's an entirely different story than what people were thinking, but yet it still goes on. They still want to have a narrative related to race when that's not what this case was about, is it?
No, it's not. It's not about race, Sean. And if it's about race, it's about a black man targeting a white man, not the reverse. Officer Wilson never even got an opportunity to utter a word or exit his vehicle before he was savagely attacked. So that's the facts of the case. And Al Sharpton's not going to address the facts. But my question to Al Sharpton is, please tell us, or all the politicians, what is the line? What is the line that law enforcement has to get to before they can protect another person's life or their own? Where is that line? They won't address it. The grand jury's wrong. The law is wrong. The use of force policy is wrong. Everything is wrong except for what they want. They sound like a bunch of spoiled children that don't get their way.
All right, we're going to pick it up. Both of you are coming back later in the show, I promise. But first, tonight on Hannity. Also tonight, in the wake of the grand jury's decision, Michael Brown's stepfather was caught on tape inciting violence, and the Missouri lieutenant governor wants him to be brought up on charges. He's here tonight to explain why, and then also later tonight.
Because we'll tear this country up.
New video of Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan emerges. We'll play more of his racially charged speech. Is he inciting violence? Which leads us, by the way, to our question of the day. Should people like Farrakhan be arrested for inciting a riot? I'll give you my answer at the end of the program. But first, we'll head over to Facebook.com/Sean Hannity and tell us what you think, or on Twitter @Sean Hannity. And we'll have that and much more on this busy news night.